is a fact that this is the Audio Mullet. This is Michael J. Nelson, along with these two guys. Introduce yourselves, will you please?
Oh, my name is Doug TenNapel. Kind of.
Kind of?
100% Doug TenNapel. Let me rephrase that. 100% absolutely here, sitting in my seat, completely filling my body with the soul that I know as Doug TenNapel.
Why do you have to make everything complicated? Go ahead. Sorry, Ethan, go ahead. And then we'll get back to Doug.
I am Emmy-nominated and Eisner-nominated Ethan Nicolle, co-creator of Axe Cop.
Let's talk about your Emmy nominations.
I think I'm sharing the same one Doug was nominated for when I say that.
Ethan, yeah, that's right. Ethan, how many Cable Ace Awards?
Actually, we all share it because it was an episode we all worked on it.
We all worked on it, so we're all. I have racked up another Emmy nomination.
We all share a daytime Emmy nomination for a VeggieTales episode.
Yeah. What I really long for is a Cable Ace Award.
Triple high five.
Well, I'm here to tell you, Doug, you're in the presence of a guy who was nominated 5 times and lost every single one of them. To, I think, remember that show with Brian Benben on HBO?
Yeah.
Where he,
Dream On? Was it Dream On?
Dream On.
Oh, yeah. I remember the ads.
Who's watching Dream On now, huh? Who's watching that now? Nobody.
Yeah, you want a Cable Ace Award? You want one? Dream On.
Anyway, I'm going to pass it to Ethan to explain what this show is. What are we doing?
What
here?
The actual show is, or what the topic is?
What this show overall? Give us the overarching view of what is Audio Mullet.
Audio Mullet. We pick topics that are kind of lame, like a mullet, but we wear them proudly because we know that deep down they're awesome and timeless, like a mullet.
But they're considered out of fashion today, like a mullet.
Right.
But
even though all of us are actually party in the front and the back.
Exactly.
We're a mull.
I just read today, in fact, reinforcement for the mullet concept. There's I think Psychology Today came out with a report, and I love when they always confirm the things that are very obvious to every human being who's ever lived, is that feminists like to have, sort of wimpy woke dudes go help them pick out the lingerie that they'll use to, sleep with their and seduce the bad boy. That was basically what it was saying. It was all couched in Psychology Today, but it was basically, come on, man. Everybody's going with a mullet dude when they go with what they...
That's right. That's right.
So we're...
Hey, how many feminists does it take to screw in a light bulb?
That's not funny.
And you can edit that out. That was terrible. Go ahead.
It's getting problematic already. We haven't started.
All right, so we have our department later I'm very excited about because I'm going to learn what kind of, sort of femmy drinks. Am I allowed to? Oh, wow. We're probably in trouble already. Dude. Let's say fey drinks. Fey is a word
I smell a theme of just troublesome episode. From now on, anyone who talks, you have to say something problematic for the rest of the show.
So many landmines. But anyway, we're going to talk about your favorite fey drinks that you're ashamed to drink but still love. And maybe you drink them in secret in your own room. I don't know, but each of us have to come up with ours. And I know what mine is.
Is fey code for a gay drink?
What's that?
Is fey code for a gay drink?
No,
is that what we're trying to say?
I don't think it's code. I mean,
feminine.
I know gay guys who drink, and gay women who drink, more, intense and robust drinks. No, fey just means like, I don't know, effete, like
Tina Fey.
Oh God!
Is there a more gay drink than a protein shake?
A protein shake? You're talking about
when I work out,
high tea bros, man. Yeah, we're talking high testosterone
drinks, there. Like things with little umbrellas in them.
Little girly drinks, yeah.
Served in carved out fruit, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, something where I'll tell on another person, though I won't name him, when he told me once how delicious a chocolate martini was. And it was everything I could do not to break a folding chair over the back of his head.
Yeah, that was Tom Hanks. I'll out him for you.
Yeah, this was at the Emmys, by the way. So it was a very exciting Emmys for me.
Which one of those
folding chair
Emmys were you at?
Yeah. So anyway,
Tom Hanks doesn't go to the Emmys, not since Bosom Buddies. He's like, all the real stars don't go to the Emmys.
no, I don't think so. I mean, it's basically if you're slumming, there's a night off, and you're like, I don't know, let's go to that HBO party, or maybe we'll just go to the Emmys. There's free drinks backstage, whatever.
For VeggieTales, you two and I, we were nominated for the daytime Emmys, where even the Emmy people don't show up. Yes. So we were looking around a crowded room for any star, and everyone cheered when Alex Trebek and Florence Henderson took the stage.
Oh, I would be on my feet.
And solely because he's a giant gargantuan Frankenstein, I saw
Frankenstein.
I saw Frankenstein walking around.
Dr. Frankenstein, not the
monster.
monster?
No, the guy used to be on Entertainment Tonight, the big forehead-looking guy.
Oh, John Tesh.
John Tesh. Yeah, he was there, and I go, I think he's one of the bigger stars in the room.
He is bigger. His face is bigger even than mine by far.
Physically, yeah.
We did we riffed him back in the day at MST when we had a slight spark of heat, and John Tesh sent us a tape of himself and said, "Make fun of me," and we did the why the long face, John Tesh, or something like that. And he reacted to it. He's like, "I am proud of my large face," or something. He was charming. It was nice.
His hat size is probably bigger than yours.
I challenge anyone. We're going to do a segment on that hat size. I beat you all. I'm sure of that.
But not John Tesh. I'm going to invite him on the show just so he can show up and go, step aside, Mike.
It'll be fun when we have him on and we go we want to hear about your life, your music. We'd like to play clips from it. And then all we do is what is your hat size? So it's just a total trap for him. And he's like, what? No, we'll get to your music in a minute, but right now we just need to know the size of your head. And I think he'll love that. And his publicist will love it too.
Yeah, because he has a bigger head. His publicist.
I'm just going to go ahead and Google John Tesh so I can get it on this.
See if you could. Oh, you don't even know who John Tesh is, Ethan?
I've heard the name. I've just never. I don't know.
Oh, he's only the greatest metal singer ever.
Yeah,
he's got a great. He has a big head.
It's like Motorhead would ask him to write songs for him all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But let's get to our big topic before we shame each other over the drinks and our head sizes, which is, and I think this is a great title, and it should be talked about all the time, how to get girls. And we
are the perfect three men to be telling people.
Well, we are. We have not.
We have amazing wives, right?
We have not failed in this.
We've landed three hotties. It's like when the Three Stooges would go dating women, and they were all like these hot women. I'm going there's no way. We're like that.
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But literally, I don't think people listening might not understand. This isn't a joke. The three of us have married way above our station. All three of us.
Way above. Way above.
Way above.
And the thing
when
is,
our wives get together, it's something to behold.
And it is not, to be clear, this all happened, I think, for you. I know for Doug and I, but I'm sure for you, Ethan, before you were Emmy nominated, right? So the Emmy did not.
All of us landed our hot ladies before we had the social credibility and standing of fame. So we really threaded the needle. We really, that's the magic BB.
Exactly. We won. Yeah. I was, when I got married, when I landed this amazing woman. Is landed? That's another troublesome phrase, isn't it?
Yeah, that's troublesome.
Oh, boy, that's trouble.
It implies she's higher than you. She's flying, and you landed her, so she's an elevated being. So that's good. That's a compliment.
Yeah, I like that one.
Her, to bring her down to man land. Down.
I certainly wasn't thinking about dragging her into the boat, if that's what.
Hook through her gill.
What is she, Natalie Wood?
Oh, Doug, going for it. Yes, we'll score another one. Put that one down.
Ding.
That's troublesome. No, so all right, so let's get into let's talk about how to get girls. Ethan, go first. What is your wisdom on this? There's a bunch of guys out there, all of them drinking soy milk and being woke, and they don't know. They haven't the slightest
with
idea.
Gillette. Pretty much our entire audience needs this advice. If I had to guess, I think 98% of our audience could really use some how to get girls. And Ethan, I don't think anyone had quite the uphill climb as Ethan did for that tower of beauty.
It was a long haul. I was alone for a long time. But yeah, it's kind of like when people ask me how to go viral on the internet because Vax Cop. Like, I don't know how it happened. Like, it was like a crazy storm I was in, and suddenly there was this hot woman laying next to me in bed.
Yeah, you were e-dating. You were doing.
So yeah, I met her on eHarmony. But I had been on eHarmony like 3 years. I had given up on it a couple times.
A lot of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I have
a lot of crazy women. Dated a lot of crazy women.
I would tell anybody who's eHarmony dating, if you're like me and I was trying to find a wife, like I wasn't trying to just like shack up and hook up, and so I realized that you do have to be pretty picky on those things. Like, you have to be really judgmental.
So dating advice: be picky and judgmental when e-dating.
Yeah, or in all circumstances, I guess. But
one of my favorite stories, Ethan, is because I was there when all the Jessica stuff was going down, and you sent her something, she sent you a like back or whatever you do on those things. You smash the like button or something, I don't know, and you emailed me going, I found someone, and you go, and she's seen me in everything. Like, she saw your picture. I sent her my picture, and she's seen me in everything. That was my favorite qualifier ever.
Because I used to, like, I'd go on these eHarmony dates, and I'd, like, a lot of them didn't look anything like their picture, and you'd show up and be like, oh, I see, so I tried to put a very honest picture of myself up there. Like, I put me and Doug on the front of that. We're at Banff in Canada. Yeah. We're kind of back to back, and it's like a good side view, and it really shows the amount of weight. I think it's like it might be at my fattest too. It's like I'm pretty big in the picture.
North of 300 guys.
Yeah, like most.
For those
most
of you who are just giving
guys,
up hope.
Yeah,
north of 300.
I was north of 300 at that time. Yes, and most fat people will just like do like an upward photograph down at their face to kind of hide all their chins and kind of never show their body. Yeah. So I want to make sure I clearly was showing my body and like they knew they're in for.
So big nose, get out the fisheye lens and really show it.
Yeah, and naked. Well, I wouldn't do naked.
It's a feature, not a bug. This is me, baby.
Yeah, own it.
Yeah.
Okay, what about this, Ethan, though? This is my thing on the e-dating, because I've heard this from a number of my conservative friends. It's like if you just put Republican or if you just put Christian, it can mean anything. So you have to put something on there that really pushes out the wrong women. So you have to put something on there like big Rush Limbaugh fan or a big big Buckley, William F. Buckley fan. You put like Thomas Sowell that you read Thomas Sowell, like that'll chase off any Marxist Christian Republican woman, right?
The thing that really divides, I found the troublemakers from the non, which is going to make me sound so old-fashioned, but it's the sex before marriage thing. Like the women that like freak out at you, like when you say like you're just trying to save yourself for marriage and wait for marriage. Like, that's a huge divider, and it's hard to find the older you get, obviously. But it was like it was pretty obvious. Like the women that were like wanting to get physical earlier on, they were the most dysfunctional. Like I had a crazy one. I had this one that was like a crazy. Everything on her profile was like, I'm a Christian and all about Jesus and I love this and that, and like, but then once I got to know her, she was like bisexual and into all these drugs and like had all this crazy surgery, like boob surgery and like crazy, like just it was crazy. But,
that sounds like typical kind of e-dating. So you had to get through that.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah.
I find this fascinating. Like, so people who would react, did you put that in your profile? Like no sex before marriage?
No, it would,
it was saving myself for marriage so you won't be all worn out by the time we have 8 kids.
eHarmony gives you like all these options, like for must-haves and can't-stands. Like that's part of eHarmony, and that's one reason that it's good for people that are looking for marriage rather than hooking up. Because I did a couple of different, I did Match.com and a couple things,
And you did Grinder. That was weird. That was
that one was.
That wasn't out yet.
Not a lot of fruit. Not a lot of fruit from that tree.
But you it takes like an hour to fill out all the little details, like this whole personality thing. So they're trying to apparently match you up with people that have all these points
like under big turnoff, put restraining orders are a big turnoff. That wipes out half of the field right there.
Yeah, rapists. Can't stand rapists.
Can't stand. Not a big Cosby fan.
Does it have those things? I love in those tests where they're trying to do your personality thing, like I have done a lot of heroin, and then you like no, and then 77 questions later, it's like heroin is a thing I enjoy. Like, look, you're not tricking me by rewording.
Trying to trick you back into it.
I like when you have to answer with a number like somewhat agree, strongly agree, and like a question like that. I have done heroin. Somewhat agree.
Somewhat agree.
Being a man and knowing what's in your own head, aren't all those questions either ones or fours? Like there's no 2 or 3.
Oh yeah, I always like strongly pencil in the 4 of the which way it goes. That's why it's so frustrating. I just did it. I went to the eye doctor and the better 1, better 2 thing. Oh God, it's so frustrating because like 2 and 1 are very close. He's like, pretty similar. I'm like, come on, I'm going to defeat this one. Give me, do it again.
Yeah, clear metrics. Don't throw me these 2s and 3s. I want a 1 or a 4 lens.
Exactly. Anyway, go on, Ethan.
Anyway, I don't even know where I was at. Something about, you were asking how they would know that I would. Yeah, I didn't like say that I'll right up the bat, like first thing we sit down on the date. Hey, just so you know, no sex till marriage. It was like in the must-haves, can't stands, like that would show that was like a big deal to them. Like, I can't remember how they worded it, but the idea
can't stand falling in. I think that's how they put it.
Falling in.
Was it no DT?
But anyway,
no
so it kind of
DTF.
gets it out of the way up front.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so that wasn't out front, and
it wasn't that, like, there were nice girls. I don't know. It was just the ones that had like a problem with it right off the bat. Like that was like usually a bad sign.
So to our guys out there, for on getting women, is one of them going to be? Are you recommending e-dating? Are you saying e-dating is a way? Because
I would say. I mean, I think that you should try. Like, I was trying everything. I was going to that church in Hollywood and like trying to date that way too. Like, you should still try to date like real people the old real way. But it doesn't hurt, especially when you're a guy like me who's like, I moved to Hollywood. I didn't know hardly anybody. I knew Doug TenNapel and I knew Jonan Vasquez. Those are like the 2 people I knew when I moved here. Yeah. And if you know who both of them are, they're like complete opposites in the comic industry.
That's true. That's true.
But
I like.
But John. Yeah, so
he's working on his new Invader Zim movie.
Yeah, Invader Zim movie.
It's going to be huge.
But yeah, I would recommend it for.
Mike, what about you? Do you recommend under the dating where to find him? Do you recommend looking for women in stand-up comedy?
Well, I found my wife in stand-up comedy, so I can't 100% discount it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to make you guys like hoist yourself on your own petard.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I feel like I've said this the other day on a podcast about how I was doing stand-up comedy so that somehow a TV show would form around me, and then because I'm such a moron, it just kind of did. And then the other thing was like, I'll just keep living the same life and hope that a woman shows up, and it did. So this is not good advice for anyone. So in a way, I'm handicapped because I'm such a moron. Where I found a career and I found a wife, but I will say that
you found the only mentally stable female stand-up comic.
Yeah, we used to get, we were often made fun of because in the stand-up world because people would say like, I didn't think it was an insult, but I felt like people were angry that we had a car that could actually drive, like that wasn't
you
broken.
two, everything's all perfect for you.
Yeah, look at Mr. Perfect.
Car.
Mr.
Car that starts.
Mr. Football Guy and Mrs. Cheerleader. It's like, you don't know us at all. So
Mr. 1%er with your car that starts.
You guys are both like perfect looking.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but But no, it was
You're
weird.
half right on that, Ethan. You're half right.
Yeah, you're exactly half right. But I did make a goal when I was very, very depressed when I was a young man. I was very dysfunctional. I could barely keep. Look, I didn't say it stopped, Doug. You know?
There's a through line. I just want to clarify because it sounds like you got over it by the way you're talking about it.
Well, in these two particular things, perhaps.
Okay.
But
I had a headache as a young man.
Right. Well, all the things that I was as a young man are still true. Boy, I was such an idiot.
Borderline alcoholic.
Yeah. Day drinker. Still true. But I said a roommate who was very angry at me, or I forget what it was about, and he said, like, what are you gonna do with your life? Like, I was working at Time Life Books, and then I was a janitor, and then I had one other job. And he's like, what are you gonna do with your life? And I said, look, buddy, in 5 years, I'm gonna be famous, and I'm gonna have a wife, and I'm gonna be on a TV show. And what are you gonna be doing, you dick?
Yeah.
And then
you showed him.
So. As weird
all
as it
those
is,
came true except for the successful TV shows.
Yes. He didn't say. I didn't say I will win a Cable Ace Award. I said I will be nominated for.
I'll be nominated for so many more Cable Ace Awards.
There's going to be a thing called Cable Ace Awards, and I'm going to be nominated for them, and I'm going to lose them. You dick. And that really put him down.
I'm going to get nominated for a daytime Emmy for Veggie Tales.
Yeah. This is like a cartoon,
like
that
Muhammad Ali.
Yes,
You like how he'd say what round he was going to knock the guy out in ahead of time. Yeah. You'd be like, I'm going to count him 5 Cable Ace Award nominations.
That's right. And then I pointed, I held my hand up, and just like right in his face, 5 Cable Ace nominations. And then he pulled on my finger. He's like, is this one going to win? Like, no, it's not going to win. Don't touch me, man. None of them are going to win.
At 49, you'll see my sagging, losing virility face up there at the Daytime Emmy Awards after John Tesh left the stage some 8 minutes earlier. My nomination for Veggie Tales.
I'm going to be doing
the most edgy show in the world, edgiest.
I'm going to be doing a car show, maybe combined with a boat show at the Minneapolis Auditorium. Where are you going to be, piece of crap? Yeah. So anyway, no, but
this is how to get girls.
Yeah, I'm going to be driving Sarah Silverman around in my car with my fake laugh.
Speaking of that, I was at. Now look, this is reversing the stream just a little. This is just an aside. This is a parenthetical, people out there. I was at an Emmy banquet, which was after the Emmys, right? And nobody goes to that because they all go to their parties. So everybody there is a loser. For instance, I saw little Stevie Van Zandt there, so that just proves that everybody's a loser.
It's all the orphans show up.
Yeah, people who have never been in Hollywood before, and are like, "Oh, this is cool! It's a big tent, and you get like soft shell crabs and stuff like that."
Food, and they park your car for you.
Yeah. But one of the people serving the dishes at the thing, the guy I worked with, went up to her and said, "Hey, you're on my favorite soap opera." And she's like, "Oh, yeah, no, I got fired from that."
Oh, that's good.
And she was serving the, potato roulettes or whatever.
Yeah.
That's just the way it works. So, yeah. Anyway, how to get girls. The point is, I had a goal. You can laugh if you want, but I said I'm going to, be married. I'm going to be successful. And I was a dummy. But just having that goal was actually something,
That's from day one. I remember being back when I was 4 years old, imagining having a wife and kids. Like that was just in my DNA, and that's what freaks me out so much about the youth these days. Is when you talk to them and they don't even have that goal. They're like, I don't know, I don't know if I'll ever, like it's optional. It was never optional to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ethan,
I'm underlining your goal.
Yeah, was it optional to you, Ethan? Because you're
Did I get married?
Yeah, state your ages, please, for everyone listening, because some of them may not know how old you are. I just realized I spent a day figuring out whether I was 54 or 53. I guess I think I'm 54.
I'm 52.
Okay. Ethan.
38.
Oh, the blush of youth. Oh,
Child.
just
Child.
a child.
Just started shaving.
Yeah, I'm Googling this Steve Van Zandt guy. Hold on.
Little Stevie Van Zandt. He's probably wearing a bandana, and he's probably not playing Sun City. If I'm.
Oh, wait, is that the guy from that Netflix show?
He's from the E Street Band. He's Little Stevie Van Zandt. But anyway, look.
Anyway, yeah. So how to get girls?
Yeah, how to get girls?
For the one person in the audience who just got that reference that they made, and that one person, I mean Mike Nelson.
Come on, you know who he's in the E Street Band. We're not talking about.
Who cares? I don't know. I just remember huge. I remember a huge black guy in the E Street Band.
Well, that's not Little Stevie Van Zandt, is it? They didn't ironically name people in the
guy from Lilyhammer. That's what it is. Lilyhammer.
That guy is Clarence Clemens, and he is dead. So thanks a lot.
No, Lilyhammer. It's Steve Van Zandt. He's the main guy. Oh, maybe he's not little. Maybe he's big. I don't know.
Too many words.
Yeah. So
anyway.
So how to get girls?
How to get girls. One thing that helped me was I was open to. I mean, I was getting pretty old. I was past 30 when I was still looking.
Oh God, so.
But I became open to a woman that had kids already.
Yeah.
And that was good. I think some people are freaked out of that option, and I would say go for it.
And your wife came with 2 kids, and now you've had 2 more.
Yes, 2 more.
So just to clarify that, you went for
the thing. It's not the kids. It's they come with kids, and that's people freak out about that. Like that's not that big of a deal. They come with an ex usually.
Yeah, another man to measure.
But the thing
and that went smoothly, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, the interesting thing about that is it showed me that that I was capable of a lot more than I thought I was. You know, like standing up for my wife and I guess getting in.
And being an instant father. So you become an instant husband, and you're an instant father of 2. It's like, boom, the responsibility, comes. And you took it with grace.
That's like my main thing to any man is like there's things that you like already like were meant to be doing. And when you jump in and do them, suddenly you realize it's in you. Like, so yeah, it scared you, but like getting married, being a father, these are all horrifying things, but you're meant to be doing them. Like that stuff's in you. Like
they're horrifying for greasy, effeminate, loser, no values guys. But guys who step up to it.
Yeah.
If you're the kind of guy that steps up to it because you know your core, like when you marry a woman and she has kids, there's a switch in you that goes, oh, now I'm a father, and you do the father thing. It's only a problem if you're weird.
Yeah.
So it's a values thing of deep down inside you know deep down inside if you value your father and you value fatherhood, and you're into those kinds of values. So fathers are into, self-sacrifice and hard work and wisdom and leadership and gentle guidance and being a good example. If you're that kind of person when you're single, and then you're ready to be a father. And if you're not that when you're a single, you're a problem anyways, even if you're not a father. You have to become those things just to function in life, even if you're single.
Yeah, and I think just to be clear, like the fatherhood thing is so for anyone who adopts or anyone who marries someone with children, you instantly have kids. There's nothing different about that than when you have a wife who gives birth. You're instantly a father. Like you have a pregnant wife. I remember that. It's like, she's getting a little big. This is fun. This is neat, And then all of a sudden that baby, a human being, is there in your life, and you are instantly a father. So I don't see that
it's like a vulnerable naked mole rat that's going to like fall apart in your hands, and you go, "Holy cow! I'm in charge. I'm responsible."
Right, and you suddenly that all of the things of fatherhood snap in to place. They don't do it perfectly, obviously, but you do realize, like, oh. I remember actually thinking that in my dumb brain, like, oh, I get it. Okay, life is different now. Yeah. Like, it's way different. Okay.
Yeah. And I just grew up. By the way, I see it as liberating because before I got married, I was not in a good place, right? In my mind, I'm just going like, my life is not going to be okay. This is not okay. And the same thing when I had kids, it's like, that's what really inspired us to have kids. But I said, honey, we're married and things are not okay. It's like something is obviously missing that real men have enjoyed for like ever since the beginning. It's like you're supposed to have a family, and then that shows up and clicks into place. And it's not, I went from being someone comfortable to now I'm an alien as a father. It's I went from someone where my values were very uncomfortable, even though my life was easy. And I snapped into something where I go, oh, this is way more important and way more meaningful and worth sustaining and worth fighting for and living for. Those are things like people are just looking for maybe inspiration and meaning. And it's because you're trying to find inspiration and meaning being single and playing Xbox and staying online all day.
Right. Yeah. That maybe the part of it is, sitting in a chair and like, I'm going to war today because I'm playing Xbox. Like, nope. It is a different thing. I'm sorry again, that's probably triggering for some people. But you don't know what life is.
If you're triggered by hearing that, your values are wrong. So make a little adjustment. We're here to readjust some compasses, I think, is another thing.
Yeah. But
so how to get girls? Readjust the compass.
Our title was, as you can tell, a little bit of a joke, a jape, as they say, but no, it is true, and how you do it is through this process of maturing as a man. That's why I thought, look, I don't really like to do current things, but Doug mentioned it earlier, the Gillette thing. And I don't really like to give them airtime, but we don't need to do it specifically. But this idea of, Doug, do the general thing of it. What do you think of that? That people who sell us products telling us how to be men or whatever. Your thoughts?
Yeah. So my thoughts on it is, it's weird when you and I are people. So if we state ground, it's like, yeah, I'm a Christian and I'm a conservative. So it's right for you to say, I know his politics. But a razor is a neutral object. It has no values. And then Gillette comes out and wants to try and associate a neutral object with basically a feminist line that, we will teach you how to be men kind of thing, which I don't look to my razor to do. So everything gets politicized some way. And suddenly you're supposed to go into the store and as you see what brand of underwear, what razor you use, what chicken sandwich you eat, suddenly is there an elephant or a donkey by it, so I know if I can buy it in good faith or not. Like that's the politicization of everything.
Yeah, I find this so, and this is going to be, this is going to trigger people. I find it un-American. And I'm talking about the idea of America where I know and interact with so many people whose values are 180 degrees from mine. I don't care. We have always lived. This has been the American way. And suddenly to commercialize the idea that no, you and your neighbor should talk about whether you use Gillette razors or Schick. This is a thing. That is not the American ideal. I'm not talking about you can't live in America. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. I'm just saying that's not what the founders, you use the ballot box, you use your persuasion, you talk to people as, assuming them to be human beings in the same, made in the image of God who, you come together and you talk about ideas and you clash and it's fun and it's sometimes uncomfortable. But the idea that, oh God, are we going to just like all be living in silos and like, oh, you're a Gillette guy, huh? Yeah. And now I can't, and then I move away from you on the bus or whatever. Like, I can't talk to that guy. He buys Schick. Yeah. It's like, this is so disgusting. And
so if you're getting sucked into those internet conversations, guys, this could be a how to get girls thing because they value men with internal values that transcend culture. They don't want to see some guy who sets his sail or his compass to whatever's happening on Twitter. So no one tells me who to like and not like. Like I hate Bill Maher because he's not funny. Okay, that's just me. That's my opinion on him. He's not funny. I don't hate him because he's an atheist and a liberal. Patton Oswalt, I would argue, is funny, some of his comedy is funny, and so he's also probably an atheist and a liberal. And so and no one can tell me to reject him because of his values. And the same thing with Gillette. If it's the best razor, I'm going to buy it, and I don't care how feministy their stupid commercials are, where they keep trying to force politics into it. It's like a virtue signal by shaving with Gillette.
I have a theory on this Gillette thing I want to throw out there, because I think this all goes down to the culture that we live in, and it's not even political. It's just internet. It's that controversy gets clicks, and clicks are what make money.
Sure.
And so right now, I think Gillette has been floundering and frustrated because of companies like Dollar Shave Club have taken over their market.
Yeah,
for
most
sure.
guys I know do Dollar Shave Club. Gillette got hit hard by that, and I think that they know that doing something controversial, like the Nike commercial, like that Pepsi Black Lives Matter commercial,
they
knew that it would get them out in the spotlight. It would get people to divide.
It did. It put the brand Gillette in front of everyone's face.
And then all the people that would be like, "Oh, how could you be against men not raping people? I'm shaving with Gillette because I believe in not raping." So I think it's that kind of thing. I think it's still market driven.
Yeah,
They want that controversy clickbait.
Of course they do, but it's so infantilizing. Yeah, it's like, look,
but I think a lot of the political division stuff is more driven. Like, I think it's perceived worse than it actually is because it's of the internet clickbait culture. Like, we have to controversy, because I noticed one time I was on Twitter and I was like, there's somebody on there that's following. I was like, how does this person get so many retweets and likes? And so I went down their feed, and I wondered if everything they say gets that many retweets and likes. I noticed it was only anytime this person took a stance on a position that was controversial.
Yeah.
Whenever they did that, suddenly, boom, they got all these likes and retweets, and I realized, like, that's what the internet, that's what it's, and I think that's why you do an ad like that.
Yeah.
Well, I think
I believe that nobody there even believes anything.
No, of course they don't. They're like the communists said, we will, hang you with the rope that you make for us. The capital, we will hang capitalism with the rope that you make for us. Like, they don't care at all. They have zero values. They have a board.
They value money, though, and they have marketing people doing focus testing, and somewhere in focus testing they got a metric that the 18 to 24-year-old market wants feminist virtue signaling, is what I'm convinced happened.
Of course,
like, they just said, they read a spreadsheet, and it backfired only because conservatives are saying, we hate this, but Gillette may still have accomplished what they intended to do.
They probably did. Yeah, I'm wondering if it did
sure
backfire, because they had to. Have you even heard the word Gillette in years? Like, nobody's talking. Nobody cares.
Old man brand. But by the way,
Dollar Shave Club took over that. It's like they've been looking for something to get their name out there again.
Great blades, by the way.
Gillette blades?
Oh yeah.
Now, I shave with an Israeli single razor called Persona. Oh,
why does that not surprise you?
well, I sought them out.
The titanium makeup percentage of the metal.
I sought them out. They're the best blade. I'll send you a few blades.
Made of mithril.
I'll bring them on a plane and bring them to you, and I'm sure that'll be fine. No, but how this relates to how to get girls? You were right, Doug. No, I'm serious. It's like, if you have some internal compass, when I meet these people, and I live in a building with younger people, some of them are lovely. They're all, whatever. I'm on the elevator with them. I speak to them. Some of them are so wan and so floppy. I just go like, no woman will ever marry you.
Yeah.
I'm going to slap the phone out of your hand. And I know I sound like the guy spraying people with a garden hose in my black socks on the lawn, but I don't care. Like, what? You have to stand for something.
That sounds like a good idea to me.
That's actually, I'm going to spend my old days doing that. It's fine. But yeah, like, I don't think that women really want a floppy guy's like, I don't know, whatever, man.
Yeah.
I don't see it, but maybe I'm
okay.
Again,
maybe we need to expand the topic a little. So it's not just how to get girls, it's how to get girls that you want. Because I don't think you want a girl who does not care about your values or does not care about your core, like who wants you more to agree with her and whatever she's going to lay down for her, whatever her values are. I'm saying if her values are right, then yeah, you want to line up to them. If her values are wrong, you don't want to compromise and do that. So picking how to get girls, you want to project the kind of girls that you want to attract. So you want a girl who trusts your values and your morals, and so you want to project your values and your morals to attract that, as opposed to wearing patchouli and having your half-shaved beard and your Rasta hat over your dreadlocks, your white dreadlocks. I want to clarify that maybe you're projecting something that you're going to end up attracting a woman that you don't want.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just gets down to, I see culture is looming so large, I think, in the way that males and females of the dating and marrying age interact with each other, that I don't know that they can tease it out anymore. And but Ethan, speak to that because you're younger.
Yeah, I always feel like I'm weird in my culture. Like I did, and I don't really have a good excuse for it. My parents weren't that old-fashioned, but I kind of raised myself old-fashioned. Like I really did focus on values and wanting to find a woman with the right values, and
because you were looking for that, you were missing that, and you were looking for that.
Yeah, I guess that's and I kind of held to it, and I don't regret it at all. I'm very happy that I did, but it's the hardest thing to tell somebody. When I hear people say they say, I started dating this girl, she's got some other weird religion, or she's a Christian but I'm not, or something. I just don't understand ever getting into a relationship with like completely different foundations for what you believe and what your values are. And it seems common for people to think that way. Like dating and sex and all that is the number one thing on the list. Everything else falls underneath it. And I think that's the number one problem, is like you got to put it in its right place, and that you have to have something above it.
That's a very interesting point. I wonder about that, because that used to be a huge thing. Like, we're Catholic. You're not dating a Protestant. And that is laughed at now. And that's fine, whatever. But that is considered extremely old-fashioned and weird, right? Anybody can date anyone. And what do you guys think of that? I mean, what... is that a good development, or
no? It's a bad sign, because it means neither of you hold your values in any real way. So if I was a vague Christian, I could marry a vague Muslim. If I'm a hardcore Catholic, I could not marry a hardcore Protestant. You know what I mean? Like there would be a real rift there. So if you take your values, so it's really a sign. It's not a sign of tolerance. It's a sign of being flaccid in whatever you believe. Like that
anything could take the back seat to getting hooked up with somebody. You're like, oh, okay, I didn't really care that much about my faith.
Yeah, and my Christianity was it ran rampant on my values that I would say, oh, I could marry, like a obese woman, which everyone's like saying you can't do. I could marry a very homely woman. I could before I could compromise that Christianity, because I actually think there could be happiness if our values matched. I don't see how and instead the opposite happens. I'll try and find the hottest woman way above my station, and if I have to compromise my values, I'll go for it, because I'm just interested in her looks. It's a terrible value.
But that's an idea that is considered, I think, insane right now. Like, why would you not... reach outside? Like, how intolerant of you not to marry? And I find that crazy. Like, what if I said that I, just go to the extremes? Like, hey, look, I'm kind of into torturing animals. If you're not into it, it's no big deal, right?
Yeah, me and this PETA girl.
Yeah, we can get together.
Animal rights girl, we can make it happen. It just means neither of you You're really not that hardcore into tormenting animals.
And obviously that's my extreme example, but it does, like, how would you make that work on a day-to-day level? Like, you wake up every morning and go, oh, that's right. We believe exactly opposite things. Let's have a good day together, honey.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I'm pro-life. I'm pro-life, and she's pro-choice, so she can murder my son.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. But I think that idea is considered very outdated, and I don't get it, because at some level, those interplays are still going to be the same thing. You're not going to escape that by saying, you should be able to marry whoever you want. That's fine. That's great. Okay. But that's still going to, when you then marry them, you're still going to have the same tensions. You're going to wake up one day and realize, oh, wait a minute, you were serious about X? Yeah, I was serious about X.
That's why we're audio mullet, Mike. It's out of fashion.
Out of fashion, yep.
Wear the mullet, people. Be the mullet.
That is a good transition. I think we've taught you pretty much how to get girls.
Oh, yeah. We should make this into a course.
Yeah, I think this.
Okay, we'll have to do a part 2 of this and actually give them things that'll help them get girls.
We should do an episode of this, or a version of this, where our wives are here to fill in the gaps and explain what they're thinking.
Oh my God!
And they have, like, my wife will have a frying pan, and Mike's will have like a rolling pin, and Ethan's will have like a fly swatter. And anytime we say something wrong, you hear like bong, bah.
They will all have rollers in their hair.
Glad I get the fly swatter. That won't hurt so much.
Yeah, we'll add. Well, if they smack it down really hard, like really whap, and we'll add like our own sound effects too for when you say something wrong. It'd be great.
All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to shame each other over our very, very. I don't know how to say this anymore because Doug shamed me. Effete drinks. Look up the word effete. It has no gender issues with it at all.
Yes.
We're going to shame each other.
Limp-wristed drinks coming right up.
Yeah, right after this.
So long silent movies, to quiet dances on the screen. So long to burning slowly, smelling sweat and kerosene.
All right, so it's time to shame one another. My favorite thing. Shame is underrated, guys.
It is.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
we need more shame.
We have to keep each other in check. So shaming is a good way to keep each other in check.
I remember that my mom and dad, I mean, this is a classic parent technique. I once did I broke the rules, and I drank, and I took a girl home or something, and my dad took me into a chair and was just like, oh, for me, I understand what you did, but your mother is so ashamed of you. And I remember that I just crawled into my room and sat there for 8 hours going, oh God, he's right. I'm shamed.
Shamed my mom.
I've shamed my mother. So
this sounds like a conversation from the 1800s. Like I'm reading Little House on the Prairie. I love it.
Yeah, I went into a sanatorium after that and wore a white robe and just sat in a chair because I couldn't speak anymore. No. Anyway, so we're going to shame each other about our drinks and which is our most effete drink, the drink we like to drink, and we don't care if anyone likes it. If you say chocolate martini, I will shame you. But other than that, go. Ethan, you told me, I will confess, you told me before this episode, and I want to hear this. This is good.
Okay.
Pretend like you just now came up with it. Go, I'd have to say, okay.
Because my drink of choice is a martini, which I have had people tell me that those are feminine, but I don't see how that's possibly true, especially the way I make them.
That's garbage.
Yeah, empirically false.
A martini is. Look at. Go watch the movie The Thin Man.
Pure gin. I mean, how can you just drink pure gin and call that feminine?
I've never seen a woman even hold a real martini, with no color in it.
No, we're not talking. Martini is not the fruit juice drink. Martini is a martini. It's a martini.
I know, but they'll do their little twist martinis.
I know.
With the drink. I'm just saying. I've never seen, so it can't be a feminine drink. it's a dignified drink, and so they may be seeing manners.
Feminized drink. Like they do lots of feminine versions of the drink, but that's because it's such a manly drink. They're trying to be ironic.
The world's most famous wife-beating alcoholics drink a martini.
My favorite is a soy milk and kombucha martini.
Is that real?
No, of course it's not. Well, God.
I thought you were actually giving an answer for your.
But
your drink.
My girly drink is just the way I drink my coffee, and that's that I take a lot of cream in it, and I like vanilla and flavors, and like I just like it. I like it to taste like liquid candy.
That qualifies. That's real effete. That is true. That is worth shaming. So we got to. And I've only shamed you for that.
Do you? I picture this. You have that drink, and then you have a little cup of yogurt, and you're wearing an Irish sweater, and you're out on the porch in your Adirondack chair, and then you like turn the yogurt up on the upside down of your spoon, and you lick it off, and you go, "This is going to be a great day," and then you sip your incredibly awful coffee. Is that how it works? I think I painted a picture.
Whipped cream all over my face.
Yeah.
Little glasses.
Yeah. Wow. No,
crack open your recent your Oprah book. Crack open your Oprah book for a little life advice with your coffee.
Now look, I will say this. I roast my own coffee. I buy the green beans. I roast them. I make them. I do them in I do espressos, and you both know I do the vacuum pot, and I make the best coffee that I can. And then
mad scientist vacuum pot.
And I'll give a cup to a person who's like, "Oh, I love coffee," and then I'll go, "Do you have any cream?" And then I'll pour half a cup of cream in it, and I just go like, "Get out of my house, leave me." All you're tasting is cream and like sugar. That's a malt. Thing for me. That's a chocolate flavored malt. That's not coffee.
It's like when my sister-in-law put ketchup on tacos. It's like you can't put milk in coffee. It doesn't go. The same thing with milk in tea. Like my English friends, they put milk in tea. I'm like, meh.
That is English tea. There are so many Englishmen mad at you now.
When I ran a marathon and the Sikhs were always at the 24th mile handing out their tea.
Yeah.
They'd give you a cup, and I'm like, oh, cool, Sikh. Dig that head thing. You probably have a knife on you, right? They always carry a scimitar or something.
They do carry a knife, and they have a lot of hair under that thing.
Yeah. I was not being racist by insinuating he carried a knife. I was being religiously
that's accurate. That's accurate. Okay. Yeah.
And I drink the tea, and it had milk and something sweet in it, and I almost spit it out. I didn't want to be rude to him because I didn't want him to stab me with his knife like they all do. And I didn't want to spew this tea in the 24th mile. Sweet milk tea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I turned the corner, I'd throw that thing in the bushes.
You see, that was the weird thing for me, Mike. The first time I visited you, I'm like, I'm visiting the house of Mike Nelson. I grew up the biggest nerd for Mystery Science Theater. And he's roasted coffee in his oven for me. And he's making it for me. I'm drinking Mike Nelson's coffee. And I just really want some half and half in this, but I have to pretend that I love it.
Yeah, it's
and they're nodding. I'm like, oh yeah, this is really good.
It's like he had to take a dump really bad and couldn't tell you. He's just like,
suck it, fanboy.
Ask for the half and half. I need half and half.
Oh, that is so good. Doug, your effeminate drink.
Peanut butter beer.
What the hell? Explain. I have never heard of this.
I've gotten a little bit of flack from
Belching Beaver.
Yeah, you're the one that got me hooked on the peanut butter beer. I don't drink it all the time. It's maybe once a year or so. But when I'm with my manly craft beery guys down in San Diego, and they're all this and that, and I go, and
I've never met a woman who likes that beer. Just so you know, maybe there probably are, but like I wouldn't consider that a fruit.
Yeah, it drink. Causes men to grow breasts, and it causes them to lose women. So just that's just a caveat.
It's almost worth it. It's almost worth it for a good peanut butter beer. But that really is my guilty pleasure, and I will not drink it around craft beer snobs because I don't want to I don't want to get the flack. I don't want the shame.
So you go to San Diego and drink this because I spent many years in San Diego drinking craft beers at the
Stone Brewery Factory.
Well, I won't say the name of the place. Not that place, but there's a bar that we frequented that was right by where we recorded that they would debut all the, the San Diego IPAs, and I got hooked. And I fully admit it sort of wrecked my palate where I no longer can taste anything else. But if I think if someone...
You and your IPA... You're an
you love IPAs. Ugh.
And I'm not a big... I would say that's an effete drink. Take that.
Whoa.
Well, wait a minute. You said,
IPA.
First of all, you paused. I'm not a big... And I was going to complete that. I'm not a big man because you drink a peanut butter beer, you son of a...
No, I said once a year. But you drink more IPAs than anyone I know, and I like all these varieties.
I don't.
They all taste the same. They just change the labels on the same vat of whatever they do.
Look, here's what I'll say.
They put leaves in beer, chopped up leaves in beer.
Here's what I'll say. The worst thing about drinking hoppy beer, and I've gotten off of it. I admit I'm backing down off the hoppy beers.
Oh, good.
But the worst thing about it is the hop puns, of course, for the names of beer.
Yes. Yes, all of them.
Like the mamas and the hoppas, where you just want to go like, all right, I'm going to break this bottle over your head, but I'm going to drink
hop
it
on
first.
Hop, extreme hop, ruination.
Mary Hoppins.
Yeah.
Mary Hoppins, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm...
Hops and robbers.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Let's keep going.
Let's keep going.
I can come up with 1,000 bad ones, and I'm sure there's an IPA named after it. So
Hop where my mom will shoot.
Exactly. Yeah. There we go.
It was like Hop City, Hop Country, Hop Universe, Hop Parallel Existence with hop.
All right, look, this is all distracting from the fact that you drink a peanut butter beer. This needs explanation. So you said I only drink it like once a month. That's like I only eat a marshmallow.
Sometimes
and
Angie will get me a 6-pack of a peanut butter milk stout, and I just go, it's like almost like a dessert beer.
It's like a stout. So how can a stout be a feminine drink? Because women are not into stouts.
Yeah, like you said, I've never met a woman who drank peanut butter beer. So I'm not saying it's that kind of a feat. I'm just saying I always feel kind of a feat among my beer drinking snob friends.
So that's once a month. So the rest of the month, are you drinking that cotton candy skinny girl martinis? Is that what you do?
No, I'm doing stouts, and I like my beer dark and bitter like life. I want it opaque. I don't want to see through it. I don't want anything sweet. So anything stout. So Guinness Stout is a standard go-to.
So you load your sidearm and pistol, and you head down, and you go to right, and you go, honey, I'm gonna be down writing for a while and drinking a stout.
Right.
I'm bringing the peanut butter jar just for just in case I want to put any peanut butter in my stout, but it's super manly. Super manly.
My attraction to peanut butter stouts is the mystery of how they do it, because I've tried my own mad science version where I take a hot coffee, I'll melt some peanut butter into it, and I stir it in there, and it's just all clumpy, and there's a rainbow, surface, a rainbow grease slick on top. I've tried it with a piece of bacon, tried stirring bacon into my beer.
Hey, look, Willy Wonka, give it up, man. You're not going to make these treats.
Willy Wonka, I'm not. So to me, to get that kind of smooth, creamy taste with the peanut butter, because to me, peanut butter, that is that's a masculine food. It's almost like a meat of the vegetable world. Yeah. The meat of the vegetable world is peanut butter.
I disagree. I'm going to say this little aside. My wife loves peanut butter, grew up on it, and she will just in the middle of the day, celery, she'll just pack it with peanut butter and eat it, and then she leaves the peanut butter spoon and crap around. To me, it's like you slaughtered a gopher in the room. It's like, ugh. That smell, that pasty,
like cement.
And now I gotta wipe it off of the spoon, and it's like so thick and it smells so much.
Peanut butter.
Yeah, so let's make a beer out of it.
I like. Have you guys ever had peanut butter on burgers? I like a peanut butter burger.
I have not, because I am not 4 years old.
Oh, see, I've never seen a 4-year-old that ate a peanut butter burger. They think that was gross, but you put a peanut butter on a burger. It's pretty good.
I can imagine being good. Peanut butter is good on everything, pretty much.
Especially bacon burger. Put peanut butter on that thing. Oh, it's good.
Oh my God, you guys are like toddlers.
So
what's happening?
What's your drink? What's your drink there, High and Mighty?
All right. Well, all right. It's my turn. I'm on the judgment seat, and I'm happy to do it. So Doug made fun of me I like bourbon and I like many bourbons. But if I don't feel like, going with the guy, the bartender will be like, "Oh, we have 75 bourbons." I'll just say, "Just give me a Manhattan up." So it's a martini glass, but it's bourbon and vermouth, and then they just put a cherry in it. And I said to Doug, like, have a Manhattan. It's just bourbon. And he's like, that is so girly, because they threw a cherry in the drink, and that has not sat well with me since that happened.
And you're supposed to go very light on the vermouth in even a standard martini. It's like you waft, a mist of vermouth over it.
Just clink the vermouth glass against the that's the old thing.
And then a Manhattan, they're like glug 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 with the vermouth.
No.
On top, they're pouring some of the syrup in there and getting probably some grenadine. They're sneaking it in there to try and turn you.
Look, I like straight bourbon. I just don't like arguing with guys over, and I don't like getting that little, that hotel shot glass you get of bourbon, where they take that thick bottom glass and then they do the one glug pour, and it amounts to like 1 millimeter of bourbon on the bottom of your glass. And you're supposed to just sit there and go, I'm just enjoying this. I want a little more bourbon than that, so I order a Manhattan. That's my excuse. That's my manly excuse.
Well, you and Bridget did get me on old fashioned. So I'll do old fashions, and I always say, look, easy on the sweet. So
old fashioned is so close to Manhattan. Just go to Manhattan, and then you get less sweet. But you still
because it still has a children's cherry involved with it. That
just tell them no cherry.
That's like putting crunch berries on it.
Here's what I want to talk about one more.
You never eat a maraschino cherry, so why do you want one floating in your martini?
I would eat a maraschino cherry if it was a real one. The fake ones, I admit, are a little fake, but who doesn't like a little fakery now and then? But here's my drink that I want to talk about. The Bloody Mary, the salt thing. Do you ever get any? I don't like salt on the rim of my glass, right? Like, who wants? If I want more salt, I'm not a porcupine.
Well, with a margarita, a little bit, fine.
But
margarita.
Isn't it like a salt?
Not that I ever drink that either. That's a icy.
But it's a salt and sugar mix, right?
Yeah.
But I will do a Bloody Mary, and they will just like crust the edge of it with 9 pounds of salt. And so Bridget and I have taken it going like, no salt, please. And then they say, oh, do you want a low salt version of the tomato? Just like, no, I just don't want you to coat the glass like it's a winter tire with salt. I don't understand that. Like, there's plenty of salt in Bloody Mary mix. It's the saltiest thing on the planet. So anyway, I am not a porcupine.
Do they put Clamato in that? Is that a thing?
I do like Clamato, but that's not a regular thing.
And that's not a girly drink if you did have Clamato mixed with some kind of alcohol. We got to figure that out. We got to crack that for our next meeting, Mike.
Here's my final question for you guys on the drink thing, and this is fascinating because I talked to somebody in a bar that I just met the other day, and they were fascinated too. You know, Bloody Mary and the beer back. Do you know this term, or the small beer, the snit?
No.
What? Sounds like a Harry Potter thing.
Yeah, that's right. It's Harry Potter, so it's automatically a feat.
So you guys don't know this. Wow. So in the flyover states, of which you guys are not members of,
Tennessee, doesn't Tennessee count as a flyover state?
Nah, nobody even bothers to fly over it. It's not even worth that.
Okay.
The Bloody Marys are served with what you call just a small beer, just a beer back, just a shooter, because you have this sort of spicy thing, and then you have a little clear, nice beer that you sip. And I went once to a Kansas City bar, and I said and there was a whole bunch of people in this bar, and I was ordering drinks for all of them, and I go, just like 20 Bloody Marys and 20 Snits, which is the name for that little beer back.
Beer back.
And the person went, what? I'm just like, it's Snits, shooters, beer backs, beer, and they're like, so you want a beer with each of them? I'm like, well, yes, but the small ones, like a small. And the person just sat longer than I could possibly imagine trying to figure it out with me. I'm like, have you never heard of serving a beer with a Bloody Mary? And they're like, Sir, I have never heard. What are you talking about?
Mike, that's called a real bartender.
No,
that's why they never heard of it. Because you made it up, and you're trying to push this out on Audio Mullet, and I don't appreciate it. Deceiving our listeners.
I can't wait for the emails to come in to prove you guys wrong. This is a common practice in many states.
I've never heard of it, but I'm very supportive of extra beer.
All right. Well, I'm glad we got this sorted out.
Any drink that requires a beer to wash it down with means skip the drink and go and just get a bigger beer.
It's not to wash it down with. It's a tiny beer. It's to enhance.
It's called an apology beer. I'm sorry I tricked you into drinking tomato juice in a bar when there's all this alcohol that's flying around and you're going to drink something from the garden.
I will admit that a Bloody Mary is a tough sell for people who have, like if you were young and somebody said, "Can I get you a drink?" Here's a Bloody Mary. You would take your first sip and just spit it into their face. There's no way you'd say.
Bloody Marys, they're made for like old South spinster ladies, like who are like match on the crew of Match Game PM. It's like Charles Nelson Riley's drink is a Bloody Mary.
Hey, take that, audience, a little Charles Nelson Riley insult. If you could be half the man CNR was, Doug, you would drink Bloody Marys.
Rich Little, if you were alive, I'm channeling his ghost right now. Give me a Bloody Mary with a snit.
I think he's actually still alive. Anyway, we'll be back next week. I guess it's not really weeks because we're an audio podcast, but we'll be back soon with another edition of Audio Mullet.
Audio Mullet.